On this podcast, we explore the many dimensions of spirituality and how they intersect with everyday life. Join us as we dive deep into conversations about how people are serving humanity, embodying spiritual wisdom, and creating positive change in the world. From ancient traditions to modern practices, the Spirituality Now podcast is your space to discover, learn, and be inspired. Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. I am your host, Ivonne Delaflor, and I am also the guest today. I'm a solo journey, solo podcast today. I am so happy you are here with me today. And I am so happy because I have not only stories, I have journeys. I'm going to talk all about faith in action, miracles, perfect timing, and the power of trust. And I truly believe that my life and probably your life are walking, living evidence of these things. So I have a question just to begin with this journey, this solo journey that we have, you and I together. Have you ever felt like life's challenges were actually invitations to trust more deeply? Or to, in my case, life challenges are like, the practice drills for where you are saying something. It's like, let me tell you something, like, and this is kind of like intense, but I've done not hundreds, but a lot of decades of work on a system called transcendental rebirthing, helping people rebirth, family constellation, shadow integration, but physical rebirth that I go through preconception, conception, birth trauma, all of that. Thousands of people have been able to support in that way. But I was helping a lot of women and that had cesarean. Like I was helping them with the knowledge that I learned from my teachers, with knowledge, mental knowledge. I had birthed children, but I did not have a cesarean. And by no means, when I say this, is that you have to have the experience or no. This is what I unfolded for me, And on my last pregnancy, my youngest son, I was dilated, the 9 centimeters, the whole enchilada, almost about to pop out. And the doctor panics, says, it's taking too long. We have to go cesarean. I just couldn't grab my head around. I just got calm. I was like, well, we cannot do that. And you know what she said, this type of doctor? She said to me, then you need to go to another hospital. I'm 9 centimeters dilated. I just remember that. I'm not going to hold grudges because today, when we're recording this podcast, we're doing a 21-day faith in action journey. I'll let you know in a moment. It's a pilgrimage online. And today we're practicing letting go of resentment. So I'm letting go of resentment live on a podcast. But I relaxed and then I got a cesarean. As I was having the cesarean, because you're awake, half of your body is asleep, I thought, wow, now I know what women are going through. Now I know not only mentally what someone has told me, in the body, in the experience. I truly believe that the pain we go through is not only for us to, wow, I got to experience and really learn what pain is like. Not only that's one level, but the other level is like, I really now know and experience what others feel pain like. Or I can imagine, I can have more compassion. Anyway, so have you ever felt like life's challenges were actually invitations to trust more deeply or to learn something that you needed to learn? Definitely for me, that is the case. Or perhaps you have wondered how faith, which is the modus operandus of my life, literally I attribute everything that I am, everything that I have chosen not to be, every circumstance that was challenging and I was able not only to survive but thrive, any person that has left my life and that has always become better. Every single thing that has happened, especially when I learned the lessons and I make different choices the next time, has become always for the better, and not only for me, but for others. It splashes all around. It benefits more people, the team, everyone begins to grow. But perhaps you have wondered how faith could change your reality and bring about miracles at just the right time. Well, in this solo episode, in today's episode, I am going to take you on this solo journey of faith in action. So I'm going to share just as a background. So this is how I my brain operates. I'm going to be sharing highlights from a recent online pilgrimage that I talked to you about, which is very powerful. It's called 21 Days of Faith in Action. It's a challenge that is micro challenges to create a macro output, which is the completion of the 21 Days of Faith in Action online pilgrimage. Is being really powerful for me. I've been serving the community with this 21 Days of Faith in Action movement for 9 years. When you hear this podcast, it started in 2016, but faith has been the modus operandi in my life since I was young. I'll tell you a little bit about that. It was the gift my mom gave me when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. And she just said the words. She just told me, Yvonne, you have strong faith, but it really got in me. It was like the mission of my life and the purpose of my life and the why and everything in my life. So I'm going to share these highlights of this recent pilgrimage, and I'm also going to share with you a health, I'm going to call it the health scare, but it's the health care. A health scare that I literally had like 2 days before recording this podcast. That unexpected, Sophia, that is the artistic director of the podcast and my right hand, she didn't know. I just sent her pictures when I was in an ambulance. I was in this and in ER. And she's like, oh wow. She didn't even know. We kept just working. But it was a health scare that became an awakening into miracles. And as God will have it, as consciousness will have it, or as like time in divine timing will have it, that day, which is 2 days ago, it was a day in the pilgrimage of 21 Days of Faith in Action called Attracting Miracles. And there I was. And then we are also going to just speak briefly here in the podcast how God's perfect timing truly unfolds and how it unfolds continuously without us even thinking about it. And you will also, we were also going to talk about how powerful the connection between our brain, this is something we've been doing in 21 Days of Faith in Action, neuroscience and faith is. It's so powerful, the biology of faith. I don't know why people are not talking more about it, but it's really transformational brain-wise, body-wise, nervous system-wise. It's just phenomenal. And how really trusting in life and how relaxing can literally rewire our brains. It literally can do that. So let's begin. So a couple of days ago, I hurt my ankle a couple of years ago, not once, but twice, and then 3 times, a couple of falls, a couple of races that I was doing, some very silly falls, but the cracking of the ankle, I had an ACL, I had sprains, didn't break it, just found out that didn't break it, or the fracture was so little that it was, still walking, I walk like a penguin. I call myself the bionic woman, although I don't have superpowers because I have metal plates all over my body. I had a near-death experience where I lost an arm, almost a leg. They put metal plates all over my body. And so me having a fall or a fracture is not the same, my body feels it. I always, I go with my physical therapist and I said, I feel like a Ferrari. A Ferrari in the shop, a Ferrari that some things don't function, and I'm going to the shop with the physical therapy to get the function going, right? To do a reprogramming, repatterning, to have not only a collector's edition, a Ferrari in the garage. I want to drive it, and this car drives me. It drives me to service. It helps me do this podcast. That hopefully it's a service to you. It helps me help people, be a mother, be an entrepreneur, be a business owner, be a spiritual practitioner, make tea ceremonies that I love, 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 love. Anyway, so a couple of days ago, taking my Ferrari to another specialist of an ankle. I go to meet a new doctor, highly recommended. I drove hours because it was not close by. You know how it happens, right? And I arrived to this doctor to check my ankle, to check the possibility of like doing some work, a drop foot, because my foot, since the ankle, it's just, neuropathy, all of that stuff. And I go with the specialist and he says, checks everything. That looks great. Everything looks well. your blood tests that you did are great, but would you allow me, he said, to do an ECG, electrocardiogram, with a portable machine now that I think everybody can have one. And they sell them, this is not advertisement, but they sell them in these big stores. I'm mindful not to say words, that you can buy in bulk stuff. And they do an ECG on me. That day I felt tired, I in spite of all the challenges physical that I have, I keep training. I keep going. I do a lot of infrared sauna training. So I go and get in the bike, do weights, do yoga, do everything inside an infrared sauna. So I felt a little tired that day. I felt my speech was a little like, rah, 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 I really felt tired that day. Point number one, I have been drinking very little water. I have been drinking water because that's one of the things that I've been telling everyone in the movement of faith in action to do. And because I know it's needed, and usually I drink a gallon of water or so, but I haven't. And I've been doing these infrared sauna sessions so much, and not properly hydrating. So the doctor does the ECG. Well, one of his assistants, I go to the office of the doctor back, and he says, I have bad news. I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm not letting you drive. You can die right now. I'm like, so imagine the words, if you know the power of words, thank God I have training on the power of words. Thank God I have the training. And he said, you can die right now. And let me just check that everything is like, I'm just seeing comments here. You can die right now. You cannot drive. I'm far away from home. I have a 14-year-old son, my beautiful dog. I have, I didn't arrange proper care. There was someone cleaning our home that was with him. My whole head is spinning. And he says, either you are about to have a heart attack or you just had it. Everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my face. I'm like, and he's like, so what are you going to do? He calls 911. It's all happening so fast. I went for an ankle, and here I am. The doctor says he's an older doctor, so he has seen thousands of people. So I'm like just dizzy. And I'm just thinking, this is my moment to take my faith into action. I think it briefly. I did had a moment where I had to watch my amygdala attempting to go into panic. My amygdala, the part of the brain that is stress and fear, fight, flight, or fight. But I've been training people. I've been walking with them for 21 days almost on how to maintain our prefrontal cortex, our parietal lobes, our sense of self-regulation, our nervous system, calm, faith in action. So, wow, I'm like, the doctor is panicking. The nurses are panicking. You cannot go. You can die. My first former husband, I have two, calls, he's in the phone, and he's like, where are you? And I'm like, hey, I need to tell you, I'm about to go to the hospital. He's like, what? The doctor is on the line. The doctor talks to my first former husband, and he says, well, she can die right now. I don't have time to explain to you. And he's like, oh, can I explain what's going on? Well, her electrocardiogram, it looks like she has what is it called? A Gemini something heart. Anyways, it sounds like I have the worst on the worst, that nobody else ever has had it. And he says, you got to go right now. And you cannot drive. I'm calling the paramedics, and I hear the ambulance already. Everything is so bizarre for me. I went for an ankle, and in my mind, you know what I said to the doctor? Doctor, I'll drive my car to my house. I'll get myself in the ER. I got to arrange my son, and I cannot skip. I have a training to deliver. The people are waiting for me, 21 days of it in action tomorrow morning. He's like, are you nuts? Do you want your son to have a mother? Do you want your students to have someone that guides them? I'm like, the sense of responsibility for others was taking priority in my head than that. And so I surrendered. I said, fine. I called the father of my son. He immediately went with my son. So my son was taken care of. The dog was taken care of. I even arranged that on the phone. I said, can I use the phone? Yes. So literally, arrange everything, arrange with our, with my right hand, the student coordinator of all executive student coordinator that works in our organization, Rebecca Montero, who has been a guest also of the podcast. I called her, from the ambulance. By this point, I'm in a little bed. The ambulance, I'm inside an ambulance. I'm like, can I arrange a couple of things? The paramedics say, sure, take your time. And I'm like, calming down. Everything is arranged. Once I arrange everything, my students, my clients, they're expecting me to deliver something, if I'm going to die, at least I got to let people know that and have everything arranged so they can have a more arranged moment, not, anywho. So that's that. I realize there's nothing else I can do. I'm the ambulance, and the first thing that happens, okay, is like the paramedic says, "You're not gonna die." I'm like, I said, at this point, he says, what, like, because the doctor also told the paramedics, so what's going on, doctor? Tell us. She's about to die. Her heart, she had a heart attack or she's about to have it. And the paramedics are like, okay, they see the ECG and they're like, okay, we're going to take you. So calm. When I'm telling you, the paramedics and the emergency room that I stayed there like from 3 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I mean, it was long, but the people there, the doctors there, shout out to Spring Valley Hospital and ER, the paramedics, everyone, shout out to them. I'm going to send them this podcast. The calmness, the way they treated each patient. I saw them because I saw a lot of emergencies in front of me when I was in the ER. It was more calm than a spiritual teacher, more real too. So calm, so incredible with their use of their words. Unbelievable. Anywho, they had their opinions about the doctor that I saw for the first time, and there I was. So I was fully trusting in this situation. I'm really thinking I'm in the day of attracting miracles in this challenge, in this pilgrimage, in this online journey. And the paramedic tries to put me on IV. She says, I think you're dehydrated. I'm like, I drink a lot of water, but I do feel like that. But I have like symptoms of a heart attack. Like, I have symptoms of heartbeat. I have an extra heartbeat. I have the slurry speech, which is usual for me anyways when I'm Spanglishing. But I do feel really exhausted. I feel like dry, And it was a hot day in the place where I was currently. I was in Las Vegas, and usually it's really cold this time, but it was a high heat wave. And let me just put my glasses. I have some notes so I don't lose track of this. Anyway, so I began to relax and trust. I trusted in the paramedics. Even though one paramedic tried to put an IV, and I don't know if you can see it, YouTube. Yeah, you can see the bruise in my arm of IV gone wrong. At this point, I'm like, says, I'm so sorry you're going to have a bruise. I'm like, do you think I'm concerned about having a bruise right now? This is just okay. And then they put it in another vein. I have really good veins, thank God. And so, but this is just part of it. But when I was in the ambulance, I'm going to tell you, I said to them, you know what? I think everybody was saying, God sent you this. The doctor said, God sent you to me. Everybody's saying God. I'm like, yeah. I had a wish when I had a near-death experience when I was 17. The paramedics saved my life. Literally, whoever put me on that ambulance to take me to the hospital without an arm, I picked up my arm from the backseat of the car and kept it on top of me so I wouldn't be amputated or lose it. They reattached it. I always said, I wish I knew who were those paramedics so I can thank them. So there were two beautiful ladies in my paramedic gig that I had 2 days ago. And I said, I can thank them through you now. So that was one closure. I was like, wow. We arrived to ER. We arrived to the hospital. There is a sign in the hospital that says, be the change you wish to see in the world. I'm like, this is my jam. And I have a tendency to be really calm in really chaotic moments. Not all of them, but most chaotic moments, especially when there's more challenges. And as soon as everything is arranged, I get to be calm. But I'm going to tell you, the people were so calm. Their faith in life is so strong that you could feel it. And so I was witnessing God's perfect timing unfolded. I was in an ambulance. I was in ER. And then something happened. And this is where the challenge, faith, the miracles, it's always an invitation to trust. In the room of ER that my room was open. They consider, they're just tracking my heartbeat. I'm on an IV. I'm not drinking water, not eating. It's a procedure they have. They're doing all the blood tests just to make sure what's going on. Do you have stress in your heart? These special markers, all of that. So I'm just surrendering. There's no way. I'm not going to fight what is. I'm not going to fight. I'm going to surrender to it. I start praying. I start praying out loud. I start chanting something called the Heart Sutra out loud, because I just fell for it. I felt that I had to do it. Okay. I felt like it's not only praying for me. I just felt that was a natural thing to do. All the other rooms are closed now. And I don't know if the editor is going to be able to put an image, and I don't know if we can insert the images on YouTube, and maybe we can ask someone, but if you see the reels, probably they will be there. My room is open. I'm taking pictures because I'm talking to my friend, the student coordinator of all the programs that we have, and they're like, "Ivonne, where are you?" I'm in the ER, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yes, but we have to arrange this. Can you send an email?" Like, I'm arranging things, right? And I'm taking pictures to here. This is where I'm at. Not for nothing like just to, oh my gosh, look, no. And I'm taking a picture also of where I am in my room and the other room in front, because the door is open. Now, this is very strong and this is very powerful, because I see a man coming from emergency. I saw a little kid. I saw an athlete coming in I saw a grandma. I saw so many people going to emergencies. I was just praying over them. I was just, just praying, it just felt natural. Taking my faith into action, even if I couldn't move from a bed. And they come with a man, and they seem like they're trying to bring him back to life, doing things in his heart. A lot of paramedics, I think even police were there. I don't know if it was a shot, a stab, something. A man in his 60s or so. He looked good, tall man. They bring him in the front room. I see all of that. I'm like there watching, right? And suddenly they close the door. And that's where I stronger felt, I'm going to pray. And I started imagining that my prayers were going all over the hospital, in each of the rooms, to the kids there, to the grandmas, the women there. There were so many people. It was interesting, to the paramedics, to the doctors. I was just imagining prayer going and cleaning the spaces and everything. I was also, because I watched a Korean series, I'm going to confess, of something called Code Trauma. And I was like, wow, I'm living the series. I'm not watching more series. I'm living the series in my mind. So I was watching how incredible the paramedic work is. Anyways, I was praying for all of that. And suddenly, I chant the Heart Sutra. I really visualized it over the man that was in front of me. And suddenly another man comes. Everybody gets out of the room. They close the door. Minutes later, another man comes with another bed. And minutes later, it comes out with a man inside a bag, dead. And I felt a peace, a miraculous peace, a moment of trusting and relaxing instead of panicking, there was some sacredness of me being there, not me, but just witnessing this. Even though I had died, even though I have had people like near the experience, I have had people that have lost, my mother, miscarriages, people that I know have lost people. But this was a different experience. In one moment, this person was alive. In the second, he was dead. And the most beautiful thing, and shout out to the Dr. Dalaya, is that all the people helping me, I'm like, I feel this is so peaceful. They're like, we feel the spiritual energy going on here. I'm like, I'm just praying. And the doctor and I, we held hands. she shed some tears saying, I'm sorry you had to witness what you just saw. I'm like, it's okay. It's part of life. It's impermanence. And she cried. She said, it's so hard because it's hard for her to lose patience. And I had so much compassion and so much gratitude to be there. Beautiful doctors, so incredible detail oriented, caring for their patients. And so I was able to pray and I was able to take my faith into action there. I was able to get out of the hospital. Everything was good. My lab test came good. What it came, it was a case of dehydration. But this type of challenges, this type of moments, this type of scares, this type of health scares, which is healthcare, they're calls to action from the divine. This is really what we can witness the miracle of life. We can witness the power of trust, the power of surrender, and how it can literally rewire our brains from taking us from an overactive amygdala. It can help our prefrontal cortex be more clear, and it can help us activate our parasympathetic nervous system, have like a little oxytocin dopamine cocktail where we're going to relax. We're going to know it's okay. Even if these are last moments, we can actually relax into being. I was able to pray for that man. And not only for that, the doctor told me that he had no one there in Vegas. So she was the one calling his mom to let him know in another state. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pray for his mom. And I literally, and this is going to sound woo-woo, but I felt that the man that came in alive and then left that was dead, I just felt that it was just a body. But I felt his presence still, even when the body had gone. So I felt like when I told the doctor, I'm going to pray for his mother, he was actually able to walk away. This is bizarre. This is bizarre. So sometimes, angels, in the hardest moments, are the ones, and I have evidence in my life, and probably you too, that push us to let go and surrender. Yes? And our faith is not something only that we believe in. Faith is something that we live by. It's a state of being. When we align our actions with our beliefs, we begin to see a reality shift. Talking about reality shifts, quantum physics, you want to see your reality shift? Align your actions with your faith, with the power of belief, of something greater, of something is going to work out. Faith is the bridge that connects our desires with that which is possible. And stepping into faith can literally, it has for me, and I know it has for many people, change the trajectory of our life. And we can tap into divine timing, and we can begin to walk through life recognizing the divine timings of everything. Wow, how perfect it was that that person left. Every single person that has left my life, it has come, something greater happens every time. Every single challenge, there was a blessing, every single thing. And trusting in this divine grace, divine timing, natural law can help us release so much pressure and help us surrender to what is meant to be. Now, neuroscience-wise, there's a fascinating connection between faith and the science of our brain. Just the fact that we can relax and trust can actually rewire our brains for better health and well-being. So some people, no matter how much stuff they have, they're like, their faith is so grand that it's like, wow, they keep going. It's not about just faith in the spiritual sense. I'm not talking about faith of religion, but about how our brain responds when we trust and let go. This is not woo-woo. This is brain science. So let me break it down for you to improve our mental and physical state, which I am currently doing. So taking our faith into action is one thing to believe in something, yes, but it's another to take that belief into action. Faith in action is where transformation truly happens. So I'm going to give you some practical steps so you can start implementing today to take your faith. Okay? From belief to action. When we take action in faith, we step into the flow of miracles and divine support. And there's an old saying that says, faith without action is dead. And I believe so. So, a couple of things. You can take an action, a little step, like, I believe I can get better in my health. Drink a little bit more water. Or I believe I can, have a business. Begin to research. Do one little step every day so that not only you are beginning to rewire your brain into confidence that leads to Godfidence, to the confidence in God, in a higher power, in things work great. When I work greatly, you are part of something called the Pareto law. Take 20% action so that the Pareto law, which is the 20-80 principle, 80% can take care of itself. But you take care of your health. Eat a little bit more protein today. Eat a little bit more healthier. If you want to attract the miracle of health, you got to step into that direction. Your actions needs to align with your goal. This is the neuroscience, the biology of it, of miracles, of faith, of taking into action. And another thing you can do, you can actually, if you choose, we have this 21-day of faith in action journey that is current. I started one in 2016. It was called 21 Days of Faith in Action. And it went viral all over Latin America. It went viral. And over the years, we did different iterations. 9 years later, I felt the call again to do it, the same as I felt the first time. I really felt a divine appointment and divinely, I had divine obedience, I call it. And so these 21 days of faith, I truly believe they're the most powerful, not only because the people are taking their faith, but I think I have, in a little way, earn a little bit more the right, and I learn a little bit more of the neuroscience and the belief process, and I have more evidence of faith in action in my life 9 years later. And again, this faith in action, I do want to pay tribute to my mom. She died from multiple sclerosis when she was 54. This is the year that I'm turning 54, and I just had this recent scare, and I was like, wow, family constellation, systemic work. I just was given another opportunity to live. But my mom, died at 54. But when I was around 7, 8, 9 years old, upon believing in something, I said, Mom, please, let's go. It was just as simple as to go. And there's a reel that I have out there of that we should upload it in YouTube. We will. Mom, let's go get some tickets for a movie. And she said, it's sold out. And in Mexico, when it was sold out, back in my days, guys, there was no online, no internet, no nothing, no cell phones. The resale was very expensive. My mom was dealing with multiple sclerosis. She didn't have the money. She was a single mother. So one of the things she said, she believed in me. I was so intense. Like, I see ourselves watching this movie. Everybody wanted to see the movie. I don't even remember what movie it was. But when we arrived, a person left the building, left the cinema, when we are just arriving, and he had 3 tickets in his hands. And we were 3, my mom, my little brother, and myself. And he said to my mom, do you want these tickets? I need to go. And my mom, how much is it? No, take them. I just have to go, an emergency or something. And my mom, I'm walking towards, I don't even think about it, but I remember now. And she stopped me and put her hand in my shoulder and creating a neuroassociative conditioning about it. I still feel her heavy hand in my shoulder. I was very little. And she looked in my eyes and she said, wow, your faith is so strong. I don't know anyone with a faith as powerful as yours. Boom. That was her legacy. That was the gift my mother gave me. And this is why I keep passing on this journey. So as a call to action today, everyone, I encourage you to take little steps into your faith, or if you want to join our journey of faith in action, you can dive deep into it. We have exercises, the neuroscience, a prayer is short, 30 minutes. We have it in English and we have it in Spanish. In Spanish, it's a little longer because I like to talk to the people a little in our language. But if you are ready to dive deeper, you can join our 21 Days of Faith in Action challenge. It's called The Power of Living. It's both available in English and Spanish, and it's an evergreen program. designed to help you integrate faith into every area. When I say every area, business, money, health, weight loss, everything of your life. It's only $21 for our listeners. It's $1 per day. And we are helping with that, the animal rescue, supporting the animals, because that's where my heart is at this moment. And you can always sign up by visiting our website, YvonneDelaflor.com, or you can find more details by sending an email to Rebecca at delaflorteachings.com. She's our student coordinator, and she loves our students. If you just have questions or join even our Facebook group, you'll be added on that if Facebook is still alive by the time that you join this, And this is my message today. This is my solo journey. I wanted to take you with me. I wanted to talk a little bit more about a faith in action. I am in the process of publishing a book about this, and I'm excited to come back to the podcast once it's ready to share with you the news. For now, what we have for you is the 21-day of faith in action journey online. You can send us an email. You can go to my website. You can find us on social media and tell me, Yvonne, I want to take my faith into action, and we can send you the link to sign up. And this is it. This is the day. This is a day for miracles, of perfect timing, and for us to have power in our trust. Anyways, I love you all. Thank you. Please subscribe. Please share. If you're on YouTube, click the bell, subscribe, share us, leave your feedback. We're on Spotify, also on all podcast platforms. In social media, you can find us everywhere with my name. The podcast is also Spirituality Now podcast on Instagram, and everything is on our website too. So thank you, and be safe. You are safe already, but just be more of the power of God that is within you, and take your faith into action. I promise you, it will not disappoint. I love you. Thank you. Les mando un besito. Adiós. Thank you for tuning into the Spirituality Now podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired and empowered you on your spiritual journey. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who may benefit from it. Remember, spirituality is not just something we practice. It is how we live, how we serve, and how we connect. Stay grounded, stay inspired, and keep evolving. Please join us next time for more enlightening discussions. And until then, take care and be well.